We're here at the Ryonet 20-year anniversary, and we were surprised today by this guy. I got a video of it. I was walking out the door. I was like, I'm going to show everyone around. Like, oh my goodness, Riley's here. So I was really hoping that you can make it. Thank you so much for coming up. 20 years. We've known each other for 19 years.
Yep.
So it's been quite a ride.
Well, no kidding, and it's been quite the expansion as well.
Yeah.
A lot of changes and nice ones.
So I learned on a 1987 Riley Hopkins, or not a Riley Hopkins, it was a Hopkins
starting line.
Hopkins starting line, which is was the middle of the road.
No, it was a beginner's entry level.
The beginners. So there wasn't even a bench model then? It was.
Well, there was.
Okay.
We had a one color for doing nylon jackets and that sort of stuff.
So there was that was like, I would call that like our 150 series now, or the 250.
Yep.
It's like kind of the middle of the road, very basic micro registration.
Yep.
I learned on it in high school. We got it up here for the event. You signed it, which
Yep.
was sweet. And then when I met you, you were making what series of the press were you making then?
Well, we had just started making a Joystick Series, which, hadn't really put a big moniker on it yet. So.
Oh, I love the Joystick. So I'm not like a classically trained screen printer. Definitely like learning it on your own, no micro registration. So when you tell me how. So the Joystick, the way it works is you would use two hands. You step this side. We could probably clip some videos from the old Ryonet channel in here, and then you would look down over it, and it would move like a video game.
Yeah.
And how did you invent that?
Well, this is whoops. Wrong, but that's okay. Anyway, one of the deals I was trying to do was to not have to spend all this money on all this expensive rod ends.
Oh yeah.
And I was thinking of, well, God, I want to get it to go this way and that way, and I had a pencil that I was doing it on, and I started focusing on the eraser, and I thought, oh God. Maybe if I hook this over here to where I could move all this stuff, I put my hand on the outer end of the screen, and when I moved it, it was really weird. My hand moved right with the joystick, so that they two just married themselves, and it was really easy to register. If you didn't use your outer hand, this thing was all over the place.
Yeah,
but,
you had to use both hands.
Yeah, but if you use both hands, especially if you use the center line and two targets on the center, you could just line those looking up straight down in them, and it was duck soup.
So how many joysticks do you think we made over the years?
Yeah. I don't know, it's thousands.
I think probably close to 10,000.
I would
assume
so, yeah.
Val is here too. Val and Riley have done an amazing job. I got a chance to work with you guys making these presses for close to 5 years.
Yep.
And that shop, that was kind of like your next shop. I remember you coming to me with the idea of like, hey, we were making presses. Ryonet was really small. You were small at the time. Where was your first shop when we met?
My first shop was just our garage.
Yeah.
Because I'd made a very bad business mistake and lost my company, and was starting over from scratch. And coming off the deck is definitely interesting. And actually, a lot of people never make it back after a pretty good sized business failure. So we were trying to do something different, and Ryan was all of a sudden going to be working on the internet as opposed to having specific territories in specific cities like the regular brick and mortar stuff that had been the industry norm for a long time. So we decided we'd get nuts and do something completely different, which we did, and it was ridiculously successful.
Yep. I remember
you killed it.
When we started with you, we were doing, I think that month, we were doing about 200,000 in revenue, and with a month. And then within a year, we were doing close to $1 million in revenue.
Yeah.
And it was all based around those presses. Because at that time we were selling a press and a kit that cost about $1,000, and your press was very economically priced. And one of the things that we talked about recently is that the joystick, made that price come down quite a bit.
Exactly.
And so I think that press was $24.95 or $25.95 in that range. and
It was a sweet spot.
it was way the sale was way more than it was at the $1,000 price point. So it was great to see businesses grow. But then also, what you had said, you know, what are you doing when you're selling a press? What did that mean to you? What did that mean to, you know?
What it meant to me was that separate from us getting some income, which was, you know, we needed, but the real deal was somebody was getting a job somewhere else in the world, and that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And
Somebody
there
was starting a
gonna be-
business.
and more art.
Yeah. Somebody started a business, somebody's getting a job, somebody was taking their dream to making it a reality. And it's awesome to see all the success stories. I asked how many people have Riley Hopkins presses here, and like half the audience, you know, raised their hand. So many people have started and grown businesses and still have them today.
Well, the thing that's really fun, and you don't get this because I don't really have a chance to talk to you that much at times, but anywhere we go in the world, it's really fun when they hear my name and then they start talking about how great their service is from Ryonet.
Oh, nice.
And that's just, I mean, doesn't matter where we go in the world, that's the way it works. And so the carryover of doing really good business is really sweet. Something that we're very proud of. Dell has been getting grin lines.
Yeah, well, we had this shop where we kind of went in together because we needed to make more presses.
Yep.
So we met in 2005. I think it was May. Me and Amanda drove up there, loaded our touring van up with presses, drove it back. Like, I don't know how, this is so much money. I don't know how we're gonna sell. How we're gonna sell so many, and then they sold immediately, fortunately.
Yep.
And then the next load and the next load and the next load. We're like, my garage is not big enough. But all good ideas do start in a garage, right?
Yes. They
Yes,
do.
right?
Or the basement.
So we invested in this factory together, and we're able to expand it. And you know, speaking of that factory, we ended up purchasing that from you along with the brand about 5 years after that. So what are some of the pieces of equipment you saw there that you remember from the factory?
So we're CNC milling machines and nice old manual mill and a really nice old lathe. We had some other CNC equipment that finally fell out of existence after about 40 years.
Yeah.
But the best part was our two best employees up north came down here, and so the head of the machine shop is our best guy, incredible programmer. And,
Well, yeah, he programmed those machines by hand.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, like not using a computer, by hand on the computer screen,
Yep.
like 1984 keyboard. You know.
Yeah, and self-taught.
Yeah, amazing.
He's truly a brainiac.
I remember meeting him for the first time. You'll never believe what this guy does. Like, I'm like, really? It's crazy. So it was amazing.
Yeah.
That's right. He was living in a tent. Wow. And now he's got kids.
Free-spirited.
Been down here.
Yep.
Been with us he's 18 years now. So
Yeah,
And James.
amazing. Yeah, James is just absolutely extraordinary. Nothing gets by him.
So every July 4th, we launch this campaign, Made in America, right here, and that one. That's printed on a Riley here.
Right.
Yep. So what does Made in America mean to you?
Made in America to me means doing things the right way. I grew up in Japan as a kid, so I've got nothing against other countries or other people, but I'm into us here, and that doesn't mean any particular type of us. American is American, and that to me is a big deal
Yeah.
because that's what keeps this place going.
Yeah. And then when you're selling a press here, it's made here, making shirts here.
Yep.
You know, when I got into this industry, it was very disrupted. Like NAFTA had just hit. We just went through the 2001 recession.
Yep.
It was a very negative place. And I remember like everyone being like, screen printing's kind of gone the way of the buffalo. But because of this relationship and, the internet, it was this whole resurgence of new shops and new businesses, hundreds of thousands of them,
Yeah, watch this buffalo print.
Yeah. So you got a chance to meet Norma a little bit earlier today. She's on the Riley 300, Riley 360 assembly line now. What did you think of her?
Well, it was really refreshing because some of my best people, especially down in our shop in Berkeley, we hired a lot of women because they, first of all, had something to prove, number one, and number two, nothing got past them. And it was just really refreshing to know that somebody of that caliber is going to be building that type of machine with its importance.
Yeah.
So it was great. Really enjoyed putting that one to rest.
That's
No
awesome.
worries.
And you got a chance to sign some stuff. What was the coolest thing you got to sign today?
Well, this fellow just won an auction award for one of my old automatic flash gear units, which used to sell for like $2,500.
Yeah.
A really nice unit. We got it for $135.
Wow.
Just picked it up this morning, so I was able to tell him how it worked and what to do this, that, and the other thing, which was hysterical. And he couldn't believe it. Just after picking it up this morning, talked to the guy that built it. So.
Yeah. What are the chances of that happening?
Yeah, no fooling.
Oh, I love it. So, one word of advice to new screen printers or business owners getting in, what would you give them? What after your years of this industry and in business, what word of advice would you give them?
Well, I'm still a big fan of wearing a Dare to Be Weird t-shirt. I think it's really important to just get nuts, take all the restrictions off of the edge of your design, and try and come up with something that's not expected. And don't spend a lot of time trying to tell your friends how great it's going to be. Just do it, make it, give somebody a chance to say yes to you, and start printing.
That's awesome. Well, what's next, Riley?
Wow. Well,
Still living life in the fast lane?
yeah, I really need to get back in a race car again. I'm getting serious Jones for that. Still trying to get the shop set up to build another car. But of course, this has just been ridiculous because I've been hit by about 4 new designs just since I've been here. So
Yeah, that's why you
I
hang around
think we may or may
screen
not be
printers.
busy.
That's awesome. Riley Hopkins, been a pleasure. Thank you for all the presses that you've built throughout the years and all the advice and stuff that you've taught me. So, you are a Riley Hopkins fan? Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking over for me and giving me a break because I really enjoyed it and I really enjoy your progress. That just makes me really proud.
Yeah. It's great legacy to continue.
You're here.
Yeah.